So, friends, I think I will be doing myself a disservice and you guys a disservice if we do not talk about what has just happened this weekend. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about Arsenal dropping points against Bournemouth and Man City beating Chelsea and closing the gap to 6 points. So hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Football with Priscilla. I am Priscilla, obviously. So hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I just want us to talk about my favorite topic ever, the title race. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, with 6 or 7 games to go, ladies and gentlemen, we have a title race on our hands. But before we get into the video for today, make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and do turn your notifications on, ladies and gentlemen, to know when next I post a video. And guys, we are on the road to 800 subscribers, so make sure you keep on sharing, liking, and subscribing. Okay, so let's get into the video for today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is no secret that we are in the month of April and the Premier League is finally coming to a close. Okay, by the time we reach May, I think all the games would have been played and would have known who is going to be the champion of England, all right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend, okay, we had interesting games. We had Tottenham's game where we thought, oh, Tottenham might actually win and not get relegated. We have West Ham who's fighting against relegation, Tottenham fighting against relegation, and guys, at the top end of the table, okay, we had a Liverpool who wants to make it into top 4. We have a Chelsea who wants to make it into top 4. And then we have an Arsenal who wants to extend their lead, okay, from 9 points to 12 points. And we had a Man City who's trying, hopefully, to close the gap. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is how things transpired at the top. Now, ladies and gentlemen, obviously we had Arsenal on Saturday, early kickoff, might I add, playing Bournemouth. A game in which all of us thought, yeah, Arsenal has won this game. All of us are looking forward to the Arsenal versus Man City game. Bournemouth said, no one will win a title until they get through us. Bournemouth said, Arsenal who? Bournemouth, ladies and gentlemen, went to the Emirates and said, we don't care who you are, Arsenal. Okay? We are Bournemouth. We are playing for absolutely nothing, but we're still going to play you. We're still going to outplay you because that's who we are. We are just destroyers. We just like causing confusion and chaos in the Premier League. Ladies and gentlemen, the game ended in a 2-1 defeat, okay, for Arsenal. Okay, now let's get into Sunday. After Arsenal lost, everyone was losing their minds. I know Arsenal fans were losing their minds. I know I was happy, okay? I was excited. Now everyone was thinking, okay, so as it stood when Arsenal lost to Bournemouth, there was still a 9-point gap. And everyone was looking forward to the Man City versus Chelsea game, which entailed that if Man City beat Chelsea, ladies and gentlemen, they would close the gap to 6 points, with Man City having a game in hand and a game versus Arsenal at the Etihad. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It is a Sunday as I am making this video, and Man City has just beat Chelsea 3-0. Taking the gap, ladies and gentlemen, from 9 points to 6 points, pending a game in hand and a game versus Arsenal at the Etihad. You just can't write a script like this. Now, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, is talking. There's a very wonderful picture trending that I will insert here. Ta-da! This guy is literally drinking Arsenal tears. You just can't write a script like this. Speaking of drinking Arsenal tears, I'm actually thirsty. I should get a drink of water. But anyway, that's besides the point. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we have a title race on our hands, okay? Might I add, I watched both Arsenal versus Bournemouth and Man City versus Chelsea. Arsenal versus Bournemouth, okay? Bournemouth obviously scored, which I think they shouldn't have scored. That was an easy goal for Arsenal to concede. I'm like, okay, cool. There's no way Arsenal is losing this game. Arsenal get a goal back. It's 1-1. I'm telling my brother, I'm like, there is no way Arsenal is losing this game. Once Arsenal equalized, I'm like, okay, so they're going to win it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a beautiful pass into the Bournemouth player who scored the second goal. And Bournemouth at 2-1 up. And I'm like, no way. Arsenal tried to push, but when you looked at it, okay, there was nowhere in that Arsenal team where you could potentially see Arsenal getting a goal. Gyökeres wasn't doing it for me. Kai Havertz, I, for the life of me, don't know why Arsenal are so hell-bent, okay, on keeping Kai Havertz. What is Kai Havertz even? Okay, what is he? I don't know. Trossard looks like a shell of himself. Saka is injured. Declan Rice is the only one trying. Martinelli can't even get past his man. Like, they're not clinical. Gyökeres. Oh my God. How much did Arsenal buy Gyökeres for? They laughed at us for getting Benjamin Sesko. Well, here we are. So, watching that game, it was really difficult for me to see where Arsenal would get their goals. And I was like, Arsenal are not convincing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I did watch the Sporting game. I did watch the Bournemouth game, like I said. Arsenal are not convincing for me, especially up front. Their backline is trying, but up front, there is no one that's giving you hope that they're able to carry the game and score the goals. And a lot of us were raising alarms when they said, hey, Arsenal is scoring off set pieces. Arsenal is scoring off corners. That's not sustainable. Well, we were told, no, that's what wins you the league. It doesn't matter how you play, etc. I was like this. I remember telling my brother, the way Arsenal is playing is not sustainable. And, well, the effects are here. We are towards the end of the Premier League, and Arsenal are not getting the goals as much as Man City. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the Man City versus Chelsea game. I watched that game from the 0 minutes, okay, to the 98th minute. Why? Because as a Manchester United fan, first of all, there is nothing that makes me more happy in this world than seeing Arsenal losing, okay? Arsenal bottling the league. So that was my first motivator. Second, I just want the gap between Manchester United and Chelsea to grow bigger, okay? Because I know Manchester United is going to disappoint me one of these games. We're just going to lose, okay? But as long as that gap exists, there is hope, okay? At least let us try and fight Liverpool and Aston Villa, and not Liverpool, Aston Villa, and Chelsea. So right now, Chelsea are off our mind. So we have Liverpool and Aston Villa to contend with, which I'm okay with. Cool. Now, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, first half for me, Man City versus Chelsea game, it was lackluster. I was actually very nervous for Man City because they were not playing like the Man City tic-tac football, which I think I'll make a video about because I feel like Man City have sort of, to some larger degree, lost their identity. Pep's identity has always been tic-tac football, chess type of football, and now they're playing through their wingers. A lot of Dorku. Semenyo was trying, who, like I said, I'm just not feeling Semenyo. He was trying, but he was unable to beat his opponent. So, but they're playing through the wings. The Man City I know plays through the midfield. The Man City I know dominates the midfield. The Man City I know dominates the ball position, which they did versus Chelsea, but it was because they were playing in the wings, not because they were playing one-touch football like we love and enjoy from Man City. Anyway, first half was a bit nervy. I feel like Chelsea took the game to Man City. Chelsea, unfortunately, I was like, who's Chelsea's focal point? Like, who is Chelsea's striker? I was looking for Chelsea's striker, and there's none amongst all those front players that gave me the impression that they are a Chelsea striker. Chelsea literally have no focal point. That's very worrying for your team. If there's no striker, is it what, Pedro Neto or something? I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to Chelsea. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, going into the second half, I'm like, okay, Guardiola, you need to go back in the dressing room at halftime and talk to your team because you're not about to embarrass me, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, second half comes in. The game starts going on. Man City start dominating more. The midfield gets opened up. And I think that's where the mistake was for Chelsea. Chelsea let go of their midfield because Man City started playing through that Chelsea midfield. Like, it was non-existent at a certain point. Man City was at a certain point, I don't know if that was in the 70-something minute, where even the Man City fans were like, hey, because it was Man City touches. And Chelsea were literally afraid of going after the ball. Like, Chelsea were stepping back all the time. They were not as intense as they were in the first half. Ladies and gentlemen, Man City got their first goal. Who scored Man City's first goal? Was it Guehi? Was it Guehi? No, it was the O'Reilly kid who, by the way, where has that kid come from? Like, where does Pep Guardiola find these kids? I don't know. So, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, we had O'Reilly, wonderful player. He's been getting his goals. Good player. I think he's going to be in that England squad, by the way, for the World Cup. O'Reilly scores his goal. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's go. A few minutes later, Guehi, beautiful goal, scores his goal. Mistake by Caicedo, I think. Guehi gets his goal. And the last goal was by Dorku, who I think deserved a goal because he kept on pushing Dorku's end products, my goodness me, is frustrating. Like, you're like, Dorku, just pass the ball patiently, calmly, pass the ball. Oh my gosh. His end product, horrible. But he's a player that's always pushing, that's always running, that's always causing commotion at the opponent defense side. So he's a good player. So ladies and gentlemen, Man City were 3-0 up. And I kid you not, 75th minute to the 98th minute, Chelsea looked like a team that were one man down. And they literally just stopped playing. Like, Chelsea just accepted defeat in the 75th minute. And they were like, let's just play so that we reach 98 minutes so that all of us can go home. Which was very embarrassing and sad for Chelsea fans. Okay? I feel like Chelsea gave up. White flag, they were like, yeah, we concede. Let's continue. Okay? They gave up, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, that's how the game went. And I was very happy with the result as a Manchester United fan. And a certified Arsenal hater, very happy with the results. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as it stands, there's a 6-point gap between Arsenal, okay, and Man City. And I think Man City play Crystal Palace and then they play Arsenal, I think. I'm more worried about the Crystal Palace versus Man City game. Because I feel like Crystal Palace is Man City's kryptonite. Okay, they just have a way of beating Man City. I don't know how. It's like Manchester United Wolves at the time. Crystal Palace, Man City. Crystal Palace just wake up and they're saying, opponents, we're gonna beat you. And they can beat Man City. So I'm worried about that game. The Arsenal game, I think, even though people are ruling out Arsenal, I do think there is hope for Arsenal. I still think Arsenal can beat Man City. There's a possibility. Man City is not hard to get at. Their defense is not convincing for me. They have striking force, good. Their midfield, they have Rodri. It's okay. Their defense is still shaky. But they have what's his name? Donnarumma. But still, their defense, questionable for me. So for me, I'm more afraid of the Crystal Palace game than I am about the Arsenal game. Because, yeah, they can beat Arsenal, but they can lose to a Crystal Palace and drop points. But then Arsenal have Newcastle. If Arsenal play Newcastle the way they played Bournemouth, Arsenal is losing completely. Not even drawing, losing to Newcastle. Arsenal have to pull their socks up because against Newcastle, you can't mess up. Newcastle run, okay? Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali on that midfield versus Kai Havertz and Declan Rice. Yeah, Arsenal need to get it together. They need to lock in because if they're not careful, they will literally, and it's not a joke, bottle this Premier League title race, and it's going to be the mother of all bottles. Get it? I'm so funny. So yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, I thought, hey, you're doing a disservice if you're not going to talk about this game, and I absolutely wanted to talk about this game. So ladies and gentlemen, that's all I had for you guys today. I just wanted us to talk about the title race, which is heated up and which is absolutely interesting and fun to witness. So yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Who do you guys think is going to win the Premier League title? I will say this. I have seen Manchester United go toe-to-toe with Man City till the end of the Premier League, to the 90th minute of the Premier League. Yeah, we scored, we won, we were celebrating. I was outside our house celebrating. Man City were still playing, and I remember Sergio Aguero, oh my god, and the crowd went wild. The only thing I remember is Aguero taking off his shirts, and Man City beat Manchester United, I think by a point at that time, or by goal difference, either the two. But Man City beat us at the end of the title race. Okay? So if there's a team you don't want to go toe-to-toe with in the title race, it's absolutely not Man City. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much guys for watching. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And do turn your notifications on, ladies and gentlemen, to know when next I post a video. Bye guys.